From Johnny Rotten destroying this host...
Well, they will if you just carry on ignoring the most poignant parts.
I'm glad that was such an important part of your
And
life.
I'm here to remind you.
Oh!
To Brian May walking out...
No, I'm sorry. It doesn't work. I'm sorry, guy. I'll see you.
These are times famous rock stars shut down disrespectful interviewers. Starting with Ronnie James Dio refusing to tolerate nonsense. In the late 90s, there was a skateboarding magazine called Big Brother that got so popular for its pranks it eventually got picked up by MTV and turned into Jackass. But during their run, they also did some celebrity interviews. The only problem? These sit-downs were made as total jokes.
How tall are you? You're pretty short, huh?
No, I'm actually 7'9".
You look so short.
I can't believe that you didn't realize that.
You always seem so much bigger.
Not short, so don't piss me off or you won't get a good interview.
No, I'm not saying that it's a bad
you said
thing.
I was short. That pisses
No,
me
but
off.
Yeah, already an obnoxious start, but then he continues to make dumb jokes like pretending not to know Ronnie's name.
how old are you anyway, Rodney?
Ronnie.
Ronnie?
Yeah. Well, you're really up and you're putting this one, aren't you, mate?
Now, the final straw comes when Ronnie's height is mentioned yet again.
If you want me to beat the out of you, I'll be more than happy to.
No, I don't want you to.
Just clear the room and I'll kick your ass for you. If that's what you want, no problem for me.
No, I don't
I'm good
want
at that.
I don't want that. I'm just asking.
Fine, let's go. Come on out. Thank you very much.
And Ronnie's not the only one to shut down someone in the wrong. Sebastian Bach from Skid Row destroyed this interviewer before going to perform on stage for Broadway. In the year 2000, Bach was playing the lead in the musical Jekyll and Hyde and taking interviews constantly about the career switch. However, this interviewer wasn't really interested in the Broadway side of things and instead repeatedly asked questions about his rock career. One of these being, was he pissed off that his previous band was playing with Poison?
You know, as far as being pissed off that I'm not in Skid Row,
No, just that they're
I'm
out
not
there and they're
pissed
making
off.
money off the songs.
Do you want it? Who do you think makes more money?
So you tell me, I don't know your deal.
I don't even want to go there.
Bach clearly states he doesn't want to go there, but the interviewer keeps pushing the Poison thing.
There's that Poison, Slaughter, Dawkins, Poison, Slaughter, Dawkins, Cinderella tour that's out there right now.
Yeah.
And it's really weird to watch the show.
Do you think that Skid Row, Monkey Business, or 8 Your Life sounds like Poison?
No, but I mean, it's music
Then I
that
don't-
represents
I-
a
you
time,
know.
though. It represents a time, it represents a youth.
These two go on to have a pretty heated debate, not agreeing on a single thing before Bach decides he's had enough.
Yes,
Do you think Pantera played with Skid Row? I
Of
don't
course
agree.
it did, man. There's a lot of people went and saw Poison and Skid Row.
This is over. This.
You don't think you share the same fans?
I don't care. I'm on Broadway. I don't want to talk about Poison. All right?
All right, man, that's cool.
Bye. Say hi to Diego for me.
All right, thank you.
Go interview Poison.
And while Bach was clearly pissed off at that interviewer, Brian May completely ruins this next guy, but in the nicest way imaginable. Back in the early 2000s, Brian sat down for an interview with a Dutch production company, but let them know up front that he was super tired.
Yeah, I would not be doing this out of choice. I just don't want to disappoint you guys, that's all. I mean, really, I need to sleep.
Even after knowing Brian was burnt out, the interviewer would go on to make an absolutely absurd request. Can you quickly perform the entire operatic section of Bohemian Rhapsody?
Are you saying we can do the operatic bit live?
Yes?
No.
That would be too hard?
It would be pointless. I mean, because there's, hundreds of us on the tape and there's only 4 of us, well, actually there's 6 of us on stage. No, it wouldn't make sense.
After politely declining, you could tell the team doesn't really have anything else prepped for him. They scramble to get a video for him to react to, but Brian starts to become impatient and calls out the insanity of the whole situation.
Listen, do you want to do an interview about the show or what we're doing? Because this is really wasting time.
Okay.
I'm sorry to be difficult, but... we're all trying to do as much as we can here. Mm-hmm. You sure you want to do this?
From here, the interviewer continues to talk in circles until Brian finally ends things, but in the most polite way.
Listen, we have like 3 minutes left. If you want to do an interview, but I don't want to be watching bits of tape. It's ridiculous. Look, I'm sorry. It doesn't work. I'm sorry, guys.
However, this next interviewer got a much harsher wake-up call for pushing this legendary group over the edge. In 1997, the Bee Gees went on Clive Anderson to promote their album Stillwaters. What was meant to be a lighthearted promotion quickly turned sour after a barrage of insults from Clive. Now, the jokes start playful with things like poking fun at their falsetto.
Because that's perhaps the most distinctive thing now, that's that high-pitched... Oh, the falsetto! That's it, yes, yeah. Were you working with Mickey Mouse at the time?
The Bee Gees totally roll with the punches here, even as Clive goes on to poke fun at their appearances.
Because I didn't realise you were real brothers. I think you were sisters, actually,
Yes.
but
Well, I thought we were coming to that in a few minutes.
By this point, the jokes are just becoming a distraction. It seems like there's a jab from Clive on every question, and the brothers can't seem to get through a story uninterrupted.
And then we moved on to Wee Johnny Hayes and the Blue Cats, nobody admitting to being Wee Johnny Hayes.
No.
And then in the last before we became the Bee Gees, we were late tossers.
Yes.
which we thought was...
You'll always be Latossus to me, but I don't know.
Now, the final blow comes when he asks about tensions within the band, why they split, how only one of them was successful, and that's when Barry corrects him and takes a stand.
Do you feel, oh, I don't need those other two, I can knock out something like
There was
that?
a lot of ego problems at the time, and I can't even remember
we had one
why.
at the same time called Don't Forget to Remember, which was...
I've forgotten that one. But,
we thought you might.
yeah, of course.
We're getting on like a storm, aren't we, Tom?
Yes.
In fact, I might just leave.
Yeah. Oh, I've never had anyone walk out before, but...
we are a tosser, pal.
So anyway,
night, everybody.
And while the Bee Gees weren't about to let some host embarrass them, the opposite is true for Gene Simmons, who got humiliated in front of his own wife. To promote their show Gene Simmons' Family Jewels, Gene and his wife went on Joy Behar in 2011. Little did they know Joy had laid a trap to fluster Gene right on the air. She says she has an old clip of Alice Cooper on the show. It's here where he shares a pretty crazy fact about Gene, something that should never be said in front of the wife.
That lifestyle only goes so far, and then you start thinking about what's important.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. But in those days, you know, Gene Simmons was on the show. I've heard this before from him anyway. He claims that he had sex with 5,000 women.
Yeah, revealing someone slept with 5,000 women in front of their wife is pretty cold, but Gene tries to keep it light by spinning the joke about his back.
How's your back, Gene?
My back is good. My schmeckle, not so much.
That's very nice of you to joke about.
It's a joke. Where are you going? What are you doing?
Rude. She's done with you. It's so rude for you to joke about it.
Now, Joy's bait causes Shannon to walk out, but throughout the entire interview, Gene remains composed, acknowledges his wife's feelings, all while still being able to call out Joy.
You did the entire setup. Please come back here.
You joke about it, and it's not funny.
Well, I'm trying to make you feel a little more comfortable.
So it's possible that she's done with you, Jane. How do you feel about it?
Well, I hope not.
You hope not.
Please come back. Good setup, Joyce.
Don't blame me for this.
We're going to talk about our new season.
Gene definitely struggled there, but our next rock star put this interviewer in his place just by simply outclassing him. When Chris Cornell finished a set at Pink Pop in 1992, he was immediately asked to do an interview. Not a huge deal, but then the interviewer starts asking some strange questions. Over and over, he asks about the noise.
Now tell me, Chris, the noise that you make, or is noise the wrong word? The noise that you make does fit to this weather.
Yeah, I think so. I think noise is the perfect word.
He wants to know if Chris likes the noise, if the crowd likes it, before asking yet another question about the noise.
What do you want to reach with this noise? Do you want to spread aggression?
No, not really. I just want to make some sounds that maybe people might not hear the rest of the day.
What is so attractive to making this sound?
It's fun. It's like a little kid with a really big toy.
Okay, it's fun, but it's so loud.
Why are you saying you don't like it?
It seems like Chris knows this guy might be trolling at this point, so he just goes on to have a little fun with him.
Yeah, well, I like it.
No, come on. He's lying to you people. He's lying.
Well, no. I like some parts of it, but it's so loud all over. It's constantly loud.
I know. Can you believe it?
I don't know if there's a single clip out there of Chris being mean to someone, but that's not the case with Johnny Rotten, who's clashed with interviewers on numerous occasions. One of the best has to be from 2015. Rotten went on Fox Business's Kennedy Show to promote his band Public Image Limited and his upcoming book. She introduces him by name-dropping the Pistols without a single mention of his other band.
Sex Pistols, one of the world's most notorious bands ever. And the lead singer, John Lydon, a.k.a. Johnny Rotten, rose as pop culture's most polarizing figure in the late 70s, which is really saying something given the Bee Gees status. The singer has just published another memoir, Anger is an Energy, My Life Uncensored, opening up about all the details of his sordid life and past. And hopefully future John Lydon joins me now.
All right. Drop the word sordid. There's nothing like that about my history. And secondly, there's two bands that I've been in, and you've missed the most important, which is Public Image Limited.
I know. But so people mostly know you for the Sex Pistols, though.
Well, they will if you just carry on ignoring the most poignant part.
I'm glad that was such an important part of your life.
And I'm here to remind you.
Oh, me too, John.
Now, if tensions seem high already, it's because they absolutely were. This same interviewer was still holding a grudge from her first run-in with Rotten 20 years prior.
It's been so long. In fact, the last time we met, it was 21 years ago this month. And we had this exciting exchange. Take a look.
Shut up and let me finish a f***ing sentence.
Oh, John, would you just relax? And he said, I'm not taking any more of this, you silly.
While the clip tried to make Johnny look bad, he goes on to turn the energy back on Kennedy with some instant comebacks.
Well, you didn't seem to know how to hold a book, and nice to see you.
Oh, nice to see you too.
I hope you learned to read since. It might help.
Yes, I've actually been to college and written 2 books since then.
All right, well, we're here to talk about anger is an energy.
We are. John, thanks for redirecting already. I was very worried that
Somebody's got to know what they're doing around here.
Yes, thank goodness. So,
But Johnny's not the only rock star who's quick-witted. Marilyn Manson is a master at controlling the conversation. In one of the most infamous rock star interviews of all time, Manson was invited on to Bill O'Reilly in 2001. This was to address criticisms of his music, image, and the potentially negative impact they had on the youth. See, the Columbine tragedy had happened just a little over a year before this. Despite it being proven the shooters weren't fans of his, the media continually tried to tie the incident to Manson. Marilyn was denying a lot of interviews up to this point, so him taking this with O'Reilly was a big deal as millions tuned in to watch.
What's your message? What are you trying to get across in the lyrics to these songs?
It's always about being yourself and not being ashamed of being different or thinking different. I try and take everyone's ideals, common morals, flip them around, make people look at them differently, question them so that you're not always taking things for granted.
All right.
Right away from the first question, people were shocked at how professional and poised Manson was. He didn't really seem to be the satanic worshipping monster the media was painting him out to be. And as he continued to answer question after question, he challenged the norm while backing up his views with logical points. But then, the infamous Columbine tragedy is brought up. Instead of steering clear, Manson gives an answer showcasing his humanity and delicate understanding of the situation.
And I think that that's a reflection of not necessarily this program, but of television in general. If you die and enough people are watching, then you become a martyr, you become a hero, you become well known. So when you have things like Columbine and you have these kids that are angry and they have something to say and no one's listening, the media sends a message that if you do something loud enough and it gets our attention, then you will be famous for it. Those kids ended up on the cover of Time magazine. The media gave them exactly what they wanted, and that's why I never did any interviews when that happened, when I was getting blamed for it, because I felt that I would be contributing to what I found to be reprehensible.
He handled the sit down with total grace, but our next rock star ended up physically assaulting the person trying to interview him. This is Ginger Baker. The guy is an absolute legend in the rock scene and is highly considered to be one of the most influential drummers of all time. But despite founding Cream with Eric Clapton, his story doesn't get told all that much. And this led filmmaker Jay Bolger to make a documentary about his life and career. Jay came out to Baker's property and spent days with him. He got to hear his story and a lot of other touching things like his love of horses. In fact, he spent most of his paycheck from Cream's 2005 reunion tour just on rare horses imported from the UK.
I've got 38 horses. Horses don't let you down.
The whole thing is really wholesome. So how do we get to Ginger attacking this guy? Well, on the last day of filming while wrapping up the final shots, Jay mentions to Baker that he's going to interview some other people in his life. And this simple statement leads to Baker losing it.
And I don't want any of them on my film.
Are you really gonna hit me with the fucking...
I fucking well am. I'm gonna fucking put you in hospital.
What? Oh my God!
Yes.
Ginger Baker just hit him in the fucking nose.
The documentary went on to be extremely well received, with Baker saying some of it's very good and some of it's very annoying. Although he's not the only rock star to threaten a guest. But I do have to say this next interviewer was asking for it. While the Transplants were on tour, Travis Barker and Rob made time for a quick sit down on their bus. The question starts super chill, basically just asking Travis about his daily routine.
You doing anything weird? I wake up, go to breakfast, go to a gym. I swear, I do it every morning.
Now, I guess the interviewer doesn't really feel like he's getting anything good for a story because the dude does a full 180 and starts asking outlandish questions.
I mean, you dress like a monkey and swing from stuff, do you?
God, no. What are you talking about?
Why would he dress like a monkey, Holmes, and swing from anything? Oh, man, don't be a dick. Get the I'm sorry, they just kind of sprung it off my bus.
And while Rob ended things quickly here, Slipknot destroyed this next interviewer slowly and painfully. In 2006, Slipknot attended the Grammys and actually won their first for Best Metal Performance with their song Before I Forget. They had been nominated multiple times before, so this win was a big deal for them. But for some odd reason, they got the cheesiest interviewer on the planet.
Who would win in a fight, you or Ronald McDonald?
You know, man, I don't know what to talk to you about, to be honest.
You don't think we have anything in common?
I'm pretty sure we don't have anything in common.
They try to politely shut the guy down, but he of course continues to ask for it, leading to one of the best interviewer roasts in rock history.
If there was a heavy metal song about me, what would it be called?
Jackass.
What's that?
Jackass.
Jackass would be my song. Let me hear a couple lyrics.
You're a jackass.
That's a hit, dude.
Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Click on screen now to watch Sinful versus Heavenly Rockstars.